Hey guys, what's up? Felipe here. I hope y'all doing good. Welcome to my channel, Focus Diversity. So today I want to talk a little bit about mortgage rates or interest rates, because supposedly they're going to rise or begin to rise in March, according to the Federal Reserve, of course. So according to them, they plan on raising interest rates by the end of this year. Again, this is speculation, by 1%. So, I don't know. Currently, the 30-year bond is like 2.18%. Then you have an inflation rate, which is approximately somewhere between 4 and 5%, meaning the real interest rate, which is the interest rate minus inflation, is like negative 3%. Would be negative 2% if they raise the rates, as they're saying, by 1% by the end of 2022 into 2023. So that's what they're saying. Federal Reserve Jerome Powell was saying that they're gonna raise rates to combat inflation to 3 times this year for a total amount of 1%. Again, this is speculation. It's unknown what they're gonna do in actuality, but that's what they're saying they're going to do. In reality, it's gonna have not that big of an impact. It might stabilize housing prices for the housing market, in terms of that they are not gonna keep going to the moon as they've been going. However, it's not gonna cause, I don't believe, any major issues at least in the foreseeable short term. However, the bad thing to it is that the U.S. economy, as for the most part the world economy, is very weak in terms of highly leveraged, and you're barely increasing interest rates, which will still be negative when you factor in actual inflation, because interest rates minus inflation equals real interest rates, which is going to be negative regardless. That's why it's pointless to invest in bonds, because you're getting a negative yield on them year after year. Welcome to America, right? So yeah, it'll hit the mortgage price, housing prices somewhat. Nothing dramatic, because there is no inventory. So that is what's keeping the housing prices elevated. There's no inventory. Something has to occur to introduce inventory into the market. Whatever that may be, some sort of catalyst or whatnot, will cause housing prices to crash. However, who can foresee these kind of things, right? But nothing has happened to that extent yet. It would have happened in 2020. However, the government restricted Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae from foreclosing on homes. And as you all know, the mandatoriums and whatnot, and Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac were not allowed to foreclose on delinquent loans, which are loans loans that are 90 days or more past due on their mortgage. So some kind of a catalyst has to occur to really spark and bring the U.S. economy into a recession or a major depression, which the bubble can only inflate so much, right? I mean, it's to the brink of some catastrophic events, because just look at it. Interest rates are negative when you factor in inflation. They're not even zero, they're negative. Negative, less than zero. Government central bank has been lowering interest rates and printing money since the 1930s to stimulate the economy, to buy all the debt that eats up all the equity. So we're negative. What's next? How are they going to save the economy on the next downturn? They're going to do the same thing, quantitative easing. They're going to, I guess, make interest rates more negative than they are. And they're going to fire up that printing press. And if that comes today, get the hell out of the US dollar. Get out of the US dollar, because they're going to devalue it to nothing. As Michael Burry keeps bringing up Germany and how their currency was worthless during the 1920s. It would be the same scenario, literally. And that is exactly what the central banks will do come the next depression. Comes when the bubble pops, that is exactly what they're going to do. They're going to make interest rates more negative, and they're going to fire the printing press. And that's your cue to get out of the dollar. Get into any kind of asset, possibly get into foreign assets. Because that's kind of like what I'm, in my opinion, which, don't listen to me, I don't know anything, what they're going to do. Because it's what they've always done. Over and over and over and over again. What every great country that has had a reserve currency prior to the United States, or prior to America, which was the British, prior to them the Dutch. Same thing. They did the same thing. They devalued their currency. I believe, or I can see based on how interest rates are and how easily they fire that press, that unfortunately that's going to be the future for the United States, because it's a cycle. You know, cycles has their ups, has their down, and cycles come to an end eventually. So me personally, buy assets, especially if some kind of depression occurs where deflation sets in and asset prices go down. Jump into assets, because the dollar is not going to protect you. The dollar is going to continue being devalued with every recession that occurs, as it has been constantly since the 1930s, and since it was removed from the gold, from hard money, from the gold standard, so they could print unlimited money, lower interest rates, stimulate the economy within every downturn. And that's what I'm foreseeing. So yeah, they're planning on raising interest rates. Kind of got a little out of topic here. So therefore, mortgage rates will kind of go up somewhat, maybe balance it out a bit, because for the time being, it's more of a seller's market. All the leverage is on the home seller's side, not so much on the buyer's side. As I'm sure a lot of you are aware, if you've tried to purchase a home, it's a bidding war. You place an asking price offer, you got 10 people placing offers above asking, above appraisal, and all that kind of crazy stuff. So at the point that they start raising interest rates, that should level out, possibly shift the pendulum more towards the buyer side. Not completely, but at least give the buyers some more wiggle room and not have to have combat to the death to see who purchases the home, which is kind of like what has been going on since they lowered rates and pumped a ton of money into the system. All right, guys. So you let me know what you think. Hit me with a like and a subscribe. You're welcome not to, of course, if you don't want to. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good one.